Trump says student loans, special needs programs will be moved to new departments. President Donald Trump announced Friday that two key functions of the agency he is seeking to dismantle, the Department of Education, will be moved to new departments. The Small Business Administration will take on student loans, and the Department of Health and Human Services will take on special needs and nutrition efforts. He stated, "I do want to say that I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration, headed by Kelly Loeffler, who is a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio." He was referring to the agency's leadership. "We have a portfolio that's very large. Lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal," Trump stated, and that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, adding that he is hopeful that it will be served much better than it has been in the past. Student loans are currently overseen by the Federal Student Aid Office within the Department of Education, and it handles not tens of thousands of dollars in loans but $1.6 trillion in loans for 43 million people. However, since Trump took office, the SBA, which already processes billions of dollars worth of loans annually, has experienced staff reductions, with the agency announcing a 43% staff reduction as part of an agency-wide reorganization. Eliminate approximately 2,700 active positions out of a total active workforce of nearly 6,500 through voluntary resignations, the expiration of COVID era and other term appointments, and a limited number of reductions in force, the Small Business Administration stated. The Federal Student Aid Office employs over 1,000 employees, but it is unclear whether these employees would move under the SBA, or how the agency would handle an influx in loans to manage. Trump noted that Robert F. Special needs and all of the nutrition programs, and everything else, will be handled by Kennedy Jr.'s HHS, despite the fact that it is rather complex. Trump stated, "Those two elements will be removed from the Department of Education. And then all we have to do is get the students guidance from the people who love and cherish them." The president maintained that the core functions would remain intact. Pell Grants, Title I, funding resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved, Trump said Thursday before signing the bill. They're going to be preserved in full and redistributed to various other agencies and departments that will take very good care of them. The president did not offer any details about how exactly those portfolios would be transferred to other agencies, saying only that it would happen immediately. Student Borrower Protection Center Executive Director Mike Pierce condemned the president's announcement, which education advocates have said has created chaos and confusion across the education landscape. Moving the student loan program to the SBA is illegal, unserious, and a clear attempt to distract the public from the fact that Trump has broken the student loan system and is actively cheating millions of borrowers out of their rights, Pierce said in a statement to ABC News. Moving the student loan system to a different department is likely to provoke significant legal opposition for at least one plan component. The Higher Education Act of 1965, which mandates that the Federal Student Aid Office fall under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of Education, is likely to be the primary legal issue. Congress has charged the Secretary of Education with administering the Federal Student Aid Program by issuing student loans and grants to support students' attainment of higher education, said Andrew Crook, press secretary for the American Federation of Teachers. The department's Office of Federal Student Aid is statutorily mandated to do so and has the unique expertise to manage the complex student aid program. ACT President Randy Weingarten was more blunt. "See you in court," she said in a statement after Trump signed the executive order on Thursday. Even conservative policy experts such as Rick Hess, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, said he expects to see legal challenges because of the Higher Education Act. Hess has stated that the Federal Student Aid Office would be a better fit for a different agency, with more of a financial background, and supports the department's demise. This comes as the Department of Education slashed nearly half its workforce recently, gutting large chunks of the Federal Student Aid Office, which handles the student loan portfolio. At the same time, Education Secretary Linda McMahon pledged either to dismantle the agency altogether, in coordination with Congress, or reallocate its key functions to other agencies. James Cavall, who worked in senior roles in the Obama and Biden administrations, told ABC News that his higher education portfolio under President Barack Obama included moving some loan functions to the Treasury Department. Treasury had its own authority to collect on debts, and they wanted to see if they could do a better job with student loans than the Department of Education was doing, Cavall told ABC News on Friday. And the answer was, no. They ended up having higher costs and collecting fewer dollars for Treasury. So, the pilot was abandoned, he added. Because of this, Cavall said the current dilemma has a bit of a gray area. Meanwhile, he stressed rehoming the student loan portfolio again could lead to real-world consequences. He stated, "We're at a point now where millions of borrowers are in default on their student loans. For the department to be focused on laying off half its staff and going through a fundamental reorganization of how it administers these programs, in really critical weeks for borrowers who are trying to get into repayment plans or get loan forgiveness. I think it's very dangerous and puts at risk millions of borrowers of going into default on their loans." Jessica Thompson, Senior Vice President of the Institute for College Access and Success, underscored borrowers are already experiencing a mountain of problems with repaying their debts. In an interview, Thompson said, "This can only result in borrowers facing problematic, inaccurate, and inconsistent servicing of their federal student loans. Borrowers and, by extension, taxpayers pay for errors. All of these can be prevented."